All right, it's Dean Legge again from Dog Post. Real quick, I'm going to plug the book because this is something we're going to do different. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION today. Right now, the link is down below. Right now, we're going to take a look at the best pictures of the weekend. Georgia's win over Auburn. I'm only going to talk about 10 pictures. It's hard for me to see all of the images after the game. I know that sounds crazy, but we have so many pictures that it's tough to get through. First of all, we're going to start here with Stetson Bennett taking off, running. Ryan Curley shot this. This was Stetson's 60-yard run. Was it 60? I don't know how long it was. It was very long. But, in this image, this is where it's going to be too tough for Auburn to catch up to him. And he was really rolling. Obviously, he's right at the 50-yard line at this point. And I chose not to show you all this one image that I've got because I almost never do this, but I stayed behind the play because this was going into the fourth quarter, and I just didn't want to have to fight the traffic on the sideline. It was very crowded. So I normally would go around to the opposite side of the stadium, but in this case, because Georgia was so close, I just decided to stay. And the play just totally opened up for Stetson. And I mean, like there was green grass everywhere, and you could see it um, through even a 500 millimeter lens. This next image shows you exactly, I mean, it's at the same exact spot. This is this is Stetson running through the G. There he is at the 50-yard line. You can see the different angle. This is one thing we do at Dog Post is we try to, we weren't, and I'm not being facetious when I say this. We understand that we're not uh, good enough photographers to get everything we need. So, and we know there are better photographers. So we try to shoot from different angles and get different things. And the vast majority of the time that you're shooting at Sanford Stadium or any place in the country, Missouri, wherever, um, if you use remotes, they never work. And this is an example of the one time where it works. So this is Stetson on his extremely long run, a touchdown that put the game away. Here's the next image, which you can see this beautiful light. Um, this is Branson Robinson, who really got rolling for Georgia on Saturday. He was a yard shy, I think it was, of 100 yards. And this is there's a term in Hollywood when you have the golden hour, and this is the golden hour at Georgia, where the light is perfect in the fall. You only get it from about September to early November, late September to early November, from about 3 o'clock well, I would say about 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, somewhere in that ballpark. You don't get it forever, and you really want Georgia to come your way when you've got the light. Here's why you shoot the light. You can see it's a beautiful shot, composed, actually exposed correctly for once. This is an image here of, and it's not going to fit exactly on the screen because y'all have a 16 by 9. And this is Brock Bowers. And this is again during the golden light part. Um, Auburn obviously does not pick this ball off, but this was a ball that just missed getting to Brock Bowers. This was not the one where he took off like crazy. The thing that occurs to me right here is not only that you can just see his eyes so clearly and the tone on his skin, as well as the players from Auburn, but look at how he doesn't have knee pads hardly. I mean, they're there, but anymore, when we played football, the knee pads went over your knees. Now, no, they're just out there. So guys are basically playing in shorts. It's crazy how physical these guys can be, and they value speed. So that's what you're seeing right here. But that ball did not get caught by anyone. This is an interesting picture of um, the team's most vocal player, Nolan Smith, their second most vocal player, Pop, number 10 there, and then another player, Zion Logue. This never happens on the field. These guys, this is right after the play. There's no Auburn player around them. and I think they were chasing Robbie Lunsford, if that's his name, down, and they just couldn't get to him. Now the play, Georgia had stopped him, but the play was just it was. Uh, I think Nolan was trying to catch his breath because the Auburn quarterback could really, really run, but you almost never see guys like this where they're all on the ground in some fashion. Nolan's on his butt. The other two guys are on their knee. Um, you don't see that, but look at Nolan's expression. It's really funny. I don't know if you can tell if Pop is smiling or not. Here's another image. This is a classic. I'll be able to use this image for years. This is an image of Georgia. This is classic Georgia Auburn. This is all four limbs are moving of each person. My exposure is probably a little bit off. It is tough to always nail that when you've got a bunch of clouds and a setting sun. But just Georgia in silver breeches, red tops, and red hats. Auburn in their traditional road gear, all white, white tops, white hats, white pants. It is the thing that we grew up with. It is our childhood in many ways. This was the quintessential Atlanta game besides Georgia, Georgia Tech, because there were so many Auburn people in Atlanta. But I think I just the colors of the fall. That's what you really see when you see Georgia and Auburn play. I told someone the other day I felt like God made this game to be played in the fall, just because of the way it's just so classic. Speaking of which, here's Kirby with a couple of family members, if I'm not mistaken. I know that's his son. That could be his nephew. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, Lad McConkey to the left there. That's the 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 blonde boy is Kirby's the youngest son, who is extremely active during these games. And it's good to see. There's so much time that Kirby and this coaching staff spend away from their families. This is on the way to see his wife. I feel really kind of cringy taking these pictures, to be honest with you, just being straight up, because I really feel like that's kind of personal time, but it's just what it is. And, you know, the smile on both the Smarts faces tell you the tale there. Here's Branson Robinson, who is trying to, I think, talk to me or say something, but it's so chaotic and it's actually very loud after games. You can hear people a little bit, but a lot of times, guys, they just want their picture taken after games. Look at his thigh pads. Now that's the running back, right? I mean, doesn't have much in the way of knee pads, but thigh pads are legit on running backs because you're going to take a face mask to your legs. You don't want that. So he was very happy after the game. Georgia could be a very different team in the very near future because of his play. I mean, you see him and Edwards with Kendall Milton going down. That could be a big deal as we get closer to the end of the season. But this was Branson coming off of the field. He had a good day, and he was happy to smile for the picture. But anyway, there he was coming off the field, really jubilant. This is a shot of Robbie Ashford just straight up dropping the ball. This is another shot from Ryan Curley that is perfectly exposed. Look at that grass. People don't. I mean, South Carolina has really nice grass too, by the way, but it's not comfortable grass. That's a photographer term. That might just be a Dean Leggy term, but it's so easy at Georgia. My knees don't get ripped up. Um, he lost control of this ball. He did not have it high and tight. He was running as fast as he could, gripping the ball. He lost control of it. I don't know if it hit his thigh or not or what, but there was Zion Logue, who I think got the fumble, but Terrell Walthour was right there too. This Georgia defense is, not unbelievable, but they're really good, and you just cannot make mistakes against them. If you do, you'll pay. And here we see why the ball just laying out there. This is actually our final image. Um, Dylan Bell. Now, he just came closest to me, and you can see how harsh the shadows are. But this is the guys before the game. They just take a moment, in the stands. I don't know if people can realize how physical these games are and how quickly things can change. on the field in real scary moments. And in addition, these guys have worked very hard to just be in these uniforms. So I think it's appropriate myself to take a moment to just collect yourself. If you want to pray, you pray. If you want to just take a moment, this is before the kickoff. Um, and these guys are just, I mean, we used to call it getting your mind right. And I think that's what they were doing. But that's a look at 10 images from Georgia's game with Auburn. I know they're not all unbelievable. I'm well aware they're not all perfectly exposed. It can be very challenging out there with a changing light and a setting sun with clouds. But it was an awesome weekend in Athens. Georgia-Auburn is a classic rivalry. And I've shot it probably 20 times now, and the colors just pop. I wonder if Georgia and Auburn will ever wear blue and red at the same time. I don't think so, but the classic look is so much fun to photograph.